Good morning. I'm Peter Milios from the Finance News Network. Investors remained cautious as US markets hovered near the flat line ahead of some key big tech earnings numbers due out later this week and the Fed policy statement due out on Wednesday US time. The S&P 500 managed to stay in the green, adding 0.08%, and the Nasdaq eked out a 0.07% gain. The Dow Jones was the only one of the three key indices to finish in the red, closing down 0.12% on the day. In company news, Honor Semiconductor popped 11.5% after reporting better than expected earnings and revenue, making the stock's Monday's best performer in the S&P 500. Tesla surged more than 5% on the news that investment bank Morgan Stanley named the EV giant its top pick in the auto sector, citing the company's efforts to cut costs and manage risk. The bank also noted that Tesla is aggressively redeploying resources, technology, people, and capital away from its auto business to other areas of the company. Market focus will now shift to the upcoming earnings announcements due over the remainder of the week, as Microsoft, Meta Platforms, Apple, and Amazon are all set to report their quarterly results in the coming days. On the policy front, the Federal Reserve is set to release its policy statement on Wednesday, US time. The Fed is not expected to cut its benchmark interest rate, however the market will be looking for any commentary that points to a September rate cut. In commodities news, the International Energy Agency, or IEA, stated that global consumption of coal is expected to remain largely stable through 2025, as surging electricity demand in key economies will likely offset the rapid expansion of renewables such as solar and wind. The global coal demand reached a new all-time high of 8.7 billion tonnes in 2023, led by strong growth in China and India. The IEA stated that the main driver was the use of coal to fill the gap created by low hydropower output and rapidly rising electricity demand. Brent crude prices fell below US $80 a barrel, and shortly afterwards, the Biden administration announced it had purchased 4.65 million barrels of crude for the nation's emergency reserve. The US Energy Department has been slowly replenishing the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which reached a 40-year low following an unprecedented drawback in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Turning to the US sectors now, the best performer was consumer discretionary, which closed up 1.42%. The worst performing sector was energy, which finished down 0.87% for the day. In the European markets, the Pan-UE Stock 600 index closed 0.18% lower as Philips shares surged more than 15% at one point after the company reported better than expected second quarter earnings. Heineken shares fell over 9% after the brewing giant's first half profit growth came in weaker than expected. In the Australian landscape, Rio Tinto is reporting results tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. The SPI futures are pointing to a 0.7% fall. Thank you for listening.